Since we moved to this new apartment, strange things have been happening to me. Every night, I heard sounds of celebrations coming from the apartment opposite ours in the building across the street. The odd thing was that no lights were coming from the window to indicate any kind of festivities inside. These sounds continued every night, causing me severe exhaustion. And I couldn't sleep unless I moved to my brother's room at the far end of our apartment, where the noise was slightly less intense. I complained to my parents that I couldn't take it anymore, and dark circles formed under my eyes from lack of sleep. Oddly enough, I was the only one in the house who could hear these celebrations. My parents were puzzled. I'd call them each night to hear the noise, but they couldn't hear anything. I bought earplugs and decided to ignore the issue, hoping they wouldn't think I'd gone mad. Finally, I managed to sleep in my room again after days of suffering. The next morning, I was plagued by a different kind of insomnia. I saw her. From that exact window that emits the strange celebration sounds each night, there she was, looking at me. A girl whose mere presence seemed a cause for daily celebration. She smiled at me, her teeth emitting a soft light, her hair like golden silk. She waved, and I almost got lost in her gaze until I snapped back to reality, closed my window quickly, and wondered what her charm was. This went on for days, and though I'd never thought about marriage before, I began to consider it. She had captured my heart. I decided to ask for her hand in marriage and tried to gather information about her and her family. I went to inquire about the residents of the fourth floor of the opposite building from the guard, giving him a sum of money and a valuable gift. He swallowed hard and told me they had all been murdered 2 years ago, the killer never found, and no one had lived on the fourth floor since. I took a few steps back and looked up to see her waving at me again. Determined, I decided to climb up to meet her. As I began climbing the stairs, the guard stopped me, asking where I thought I was going. I replied, "Can't you tell? To the fourth floor, of course." He thought I was mad, but I insisted, telling him the real madness would be not to ascend the fourth floor after seeing what I had seen. Despite his attempts to dissuade me, he eventually followed me. We stood at the door, and it opened on its own. The guard's hair turned white with fear, and he ran off, leaving me alone. My legs trembled with fear. Inside, the apartment was in ruins, burnt to a crisp. Just when I thought of fleeing, I heard a soft, feminine voice fitting the lovely girl I'd seen. She said, "I could pull you in and close the door if you tried to run, but believe me, I mean no harm." I asked, "What do you want now?" She replied, "Come in and close the door quietly." I did as she asked, my heart pounding. There she was, with the same enchanting beauty I saw each day, this time with a voice that only added to her appeal. She introduced herself as Nesreen and told me how she and her family were killed in this apartment, her body hidden under the kitchen floor. Since then, no one knew where her body was or who the killer was. I swallowed hard and asked how I could help. She told me that to help, I had to bring her killer to justice and have her body properly buried. She was tormented by staying in this place, begging me to assist her. When I asked who killed her, she provided a name, address, building number, floor, and apartment number, urging me not to forget her. Suddenly, I found myself outside the apartment with the door closed. The guard was gone. Presumably, he had fled the entire area after what he witnessed.